I'm sure you've all had to share things between you and your friends or divide things up equally so everybody gets the same amount. Well, let me write down the word divide right here. Now, how would you go about dividing these apples into two equal groups for you and your friend? Well, let's give it a try. I'll take these apples over here for you and these apples over here for your friend. So we have two equal groups. They have the same amount of apples inside them. Let's check. 1, 2 apples in this group. 1, 2 apples in this group. So that's division. What we've just done is called division. When you divide something, it's called division. Now, how would I write this down mathematically? Let's see. I've got 4 things that I want to divide, that's the sign for division, into 2 equal groups. So it's 4 divided by 2 equals 2, because I've got 1, 2 things in each group. 1, 2. All right. Now, division, you might notice, is the opposite of multiplication, because look at this. If I have 2 times 2, that equals 4, doesn't it? We did this in multiplication. So that's, and when you go the opposite way, you have 4 divided by 2, that equals 2. So division and multiplication are related. You see that? 4 divided by 2 is 2, and 2 times 2 is 4. So that's a nice fact for you to see how division and multiplication work together. Let's take a look at these tomatoes. I have 12 tomatoes in this bowl. Let's see, it's 1, 2, 3, 4. Well, let me use all the space I have here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tomatoes. All right, let's divide these 12 tomatoes by 4, right? So now you know I need to make groups of 4. Okay. Well, I can see that there's a group of 4 right here. There's another group of 4 over here. And a group of 4 over here. How many groups of 4 do I have? 1, 2, 3 groups of 4. So our answer is 3. Now, these numbers over here in mathematics, they have names. The number that you're dividing is known as the dividend. The number that you're using to divide, right here, is called the divisor. So the divisor does the dividing and the dividend gets divided. And the answer that you get is known as the quotient. That's how you write it, quotient. but it's spelled, you pronounce it quotient. Now, I'm taking my same dividend, 12. This time I want to divide it by 3. Let's see what we get. Here are my 12 tomatoes. Now I want to make groups of 3. So here's a group of 3. I don't have to do them in this order. I can take any 3, right? So I'll take these 3. This is a group of 3. And let's see, these 3 over here. And these last 3 here. So now I have 1, 2, 3, 4 groups of 3. So my answer is 4. Now take a look at this dividend over here and this divisor over here and the quotient over here. Do you see a relationship between these two? What happens when you switch the divisor and the quotient? 12 divided by 3 is 4, and 12 divided by 4 is 3. So this knowledge is very, 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 very valuable for when you get problems like this. 12 divided by something is 3. If you don't know the answer, you know that you can just take the 12, the dividend, and just take your quotient and switch it around, and your answer will be 4, right? You know that. So 12 divided by 3 is 4. So 12 divided by something, that something must be 4, because we know that you can switch the divisor and the quotient. Let's look at this example with these grapes. I have 9 grapes over here, and I want to divide them up into groups of 4. So I have 1, 2, 3, 4 grapes in this group. 1, 2, 3, 4 grapes in this group, and 1 remains behind. We call this the remainder, the one that's left over. How do we write this down mathematically? 9 divided by 4 equals 2 groups. So the answer is 2, and 1 remainder remainder 1. And the shorter way to write this down is 9 divided by 4 equals 2 remainder 1. See this little r over here means remainder. That's the remainder. So just to take a look again, this is your dividend. This here is your divisor. And now your quotient has a remainder in it. Let's try this example with 11 grapes. Just want you to take a look at the remainder once again. If I have 11 grapes divided by 3, what does this equal? So the groups of 3, so group of 3 here, a group of 3 here, a group of 3 here, and our remainder is 2. So we write that down, 1, 2, 3, groups of 3, remainder 2.